Hey, I'm going to do another patch description here. And I'm going to play this patch first so that I don't describe it while I'm playing it too much. So I'll just give you the very basics. It's going to be a noise engineering patch again. I know this is starting to feel like the noise engineering demo channel, but it's not. I'm just doing a bunch of patches with this new kit that I got that's all noise engineering, and it's just blowing me away, so I'm doing a lot. First, you're going to hear a bunch of Manus, then bring in Ataraxic, and then BIA with some percussion. So I'm just going to start, and Manus is going to be driven, as the clock is going to be driven from the Arturia Keystep Pro. I really like driving the clock out of the Arturia Keystep Pro into Horologic, Solum, and then Uter, and then I take that and replicate it over to Numeric Repetitor and other places. And that's the whole clock, so let's get going. That's the patch. It's kind of fun. So as I said, the clock is coming out of Keystep Pro. That's going into Horologic, Solum, and Uter, and that's being the source clock basically for everything. Mostly Manus is playing that bass line that's sequenced on the Keystep Pro. And I'm just using all manual modulation with Manus, actually. So the pitch and the gate come in from the Keystep Pro, and that's it, just the output. So I'm playing around with the envelope especially to get a little bass sound with a more of a pluck, and then a little bit more of a continuous with the longer envelope. And that's that bass. So I'll play that for you so you can hear that only. And if I turn off, it's just simple, off all the effects. Then I add smash, which is just the heart of madness. And profundity. And then I change saw mod a little bit. And I go from a pluck to a little longer. That's the bass line. Then I add Ataraxic as that melody in the background. So you can hear that. I'll turn off the bass. And the way that works is I've got basically Vox Digitalis running through 8 steps of the notes that are in that bass line. So G, A sharp, D sharp, I think C, D sharp. And that's being triggered somewhat randomly, but not quite randomly. That's being triggered by, let's see what I've got here. That's coming right out of Horologic, and that's actually, where is that? Oops, lost track. Oh no, that's just coming out generally every single time, but what's happening is the envelope is being triggered somewhat randomly out of Numeric Repetitor, which is one of the factors of that prime number generator, and it's coming into the envelope, which is Sinc Bucina, and then the signal from Ataraxic is going into that VCA. So that's how that's happening, and you can tell that the release, because the release is a little long, you get the trailing notes from Vox Digitalis ringing through. So if I turn this release way down, you'll really only hear 1 or 2 notes. But if I turn it up, you hear the trailing notes change, and it's actually quite a nice effect. So that's that melody in the background, and then of course the percussion is coming from BIA. And I have that driven completely from the Numeric Repetitor, which gives me that randomness. And I've got some modulation coming in from the Horologic, just a gate, and it's changing the bass on alt and treble. You can see that going there, and that changes it from a little bit of a harmonic sound to a percussive sound. And if I took that out, you can hear that would just be basically percussive. And if I want to change it a bit, I can change that to, I think it's on factor 1. I can change factor 1 to be more, a little different. And that'll change it to be less common. I can change the prime and turn it up to be a little bit more common. And that's what's cool about Numeric Repetitor, is you get really cool sequences that change a little bit but are a little bit mathematical and have a little bit of a repetition, which is really nice. So you start getting a feel for it as a listener. And that's it. And then I've got Pons Asinorum doing a little bit of modulation on BIA on the harmonics. And I've got another, no, that's it, on Pons. And then I've got Clep Diaz doing a little bit of modulation on Ataraxic on the wavetable. So that's the wavetable changes. It just changes the melody sound a little bit. So that's it. That's it's pretty straightforward. But all driven by that bass line. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this patch description walkthrough, and of course all the noise engineering noise. So wonderful.